The Archbishop, that is Stephen Kazimba urged the government to settle salary disparities between the science and arts teachers in Uganda. This happened during the annual education Thanksgiving ceremony that's held, the Church of Uganda annual education Thanksgiving ceremony, which was held on Friday at Mengo Senior Secondary School. This ceremony had a lot of different heads of schools, that is from primary to secondary, celebrating the success in USCE, UCE, and PLE results that we just released in the past in the past months. With this kind of event being held, that the Archbishop, that is Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, said that these kind of disparities, these kind of differences in salaries are not morally upright and also go against cultural development, saying that education is required. It's required in that it's the source of wisdom in our country, or for individuals, and having it being equally distributed is something that is very, very important. And this kind of salary differences is something that could actually demoralize the arts teachers, because previously there was an increase in graduate science teachers from the July of 2022. The graduate science teachers were receiving Ugandan shillings 4 million per month. That was their salary, and this increase did not work, or it was not given to the art teachers. So with this though the government still says they were still considering, giving an increase or giving a salary increase to the different art teachers, it had not yet been put in action. So, Doctor, we are seeing this kind of speech coming from the Archbishop, of the Church of Uganda. Is this what Ugandan education really needs to improve? Could we see this kind of settlement? Receiving of similar salary ranges from both art teachers and science teachers being able to help or to improve education in Uganda, or is the science payment being higher already justified?
Yeah, if it's to make like a two way of looking at this. Number one, are we having education to improve the lives of teachers, or are we having education to improve the lives of Ugandans? Of course, if you go by the improvement of the livelihood of the teachers, it's okay, come on. It's a little bit a very, very low payment to make to, most especially when the justification doesn't really add up. Because if you're saying that someone's earning 4 million and then the other person is adding 1 million and you're almost doing the same job, then that you really need a lot of logic to be in position to convince that person why they should continue working. But of course, salaries don't so much, and of course that's a painkiller kind of approach. If you keep on advocating for better payment, then you're going to struggle for your entire life. Actually, one of the biggest vocations that has suffered worldwide is teachers. Salaries will never be enough. You will never have enough kind of payments. But of course, one way of hoping that such people to get a little bit in better standards is to put up something like professional bodies and circles, such that you can be in a position to complement or supplement their payment, maybe with certain loan facilities that can be in a position to have. Now, there are so many investors that have invested in the education system. They should also invest in a teacher's bank. They should come up with a teacher's bank, because almost 15 million Ugandans are students somewhere. So meaning that they have the biggest number of clients, within this country. So instead of crying towards the government, which it has turned out to be a little bit very adamant about what they really, really want to have, they should be in position to look for other alternatives. No, you can't.
There is no bank for teachers in Uganda that joins them all together.
Do you know one? I mean a bank, not a circle.
Okay, yeah. I know circles. Yeah,
there is a circle. I think UNATU had a circle. Uganda National Teachers Union, they have a circle. But of course, the circle. They should be in position to have a bank, the teachers' bank. Man, that would be very powerful. And you have 15 million clients, because even university lecturers are teachers. So teachers, just a certain level. So if you keep on looking for better payments, salary each and every time, when the year is starting, when the time is beginning, they demonstrate, they sit down, they boycott, and all that. It seems to be a song that's not going to end. So yes, we should as well be looking at that, but we should as well also think about changing the education system of this country. Because what is the justification of paying science teachers 4 million? And which kind of science are they teaching?
But remember, they pay science teachers 4 million, and still we see art performing at, during the final results, we see, students that are doing arts performing way better. Like the art performance is always at a, percentage greater than that of sciences. I think it's because of the difficulty that comes with our science subjects, and also the fact that we have less people indulging in science subjects. Because of course, all the time, I think it's right now where, we have more students taking on other STEM subjects, that is biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. But still, when you compare that number to the number of people that are doing literature, history, geography, and, etc., more art subjects, it is less. So we have, that means that if you weigh on a scale, or if you're to put it, to ratio it down, we have more people in the art subject. That means there is a lot. Even if these teachers were to actually stop working, we have private teachers who do not get as much as these people get, because these people are still paid in the holidays. We have private teachers that almost get half or a quarter of what the art teachers even get. So there is more to come. There is more already taking up that space. But for the science, I think that is majorly the logic behind it. They want to encourage more people to actually take on science subjects, and also to help improve with the production and all that, to have more doctors. I think majorly that. Though even with our art subjects, of course, we have bankers, we have policy makers, we have people that are doing a lot, we have accountants. So I think that could majorly be it. But we have private teachers also crying, and they are not coming out to the government to say this or this.
Science subjects are not hard. They are just poorly taught. Yeah, I'm one of the victims. Science subjects are...
I was about to say they are really hard because I did them. So
science subjects are not that hard. I've taught from primary up to university level. So I've interacted with so many people. Now, the problem with art subjects, it's the teaching approach. The problem with science is not that science is hard. The problem with science is that science is taught poorly, because even teachers are taught poorly, so they teach poorly. Two, we should take away this approach of looking at sciences like they are laboratory courses. Science is life. Chemistry is how you prepare your tea. Biology is everything that you go through. By the time you start about fruits, succulent fruits and the berries, you've already been eating a lot of jackfruit and guavas at home. So sciences are not that hard, but they're just poorly taught within this kind of setup. With the colonial kind of education, is very, very disorganized and very fake, that it makes people, first of all, people already come look at science subjects as a scarecrow.
Exactly.
Someone, that kid does science to the extent they don't even have to brush their teeth and comb their hair. Science students are a little bit weird, in most of when it comes to their hygiene and all that. You've already sent a lot of fears amongst the young students. But science subjects are very, very easy. Two, why would you have something like that? Why would you have something like which kind of justification are you giving for paying science teachers? And which kind of science have you been in a position to do? Like, for instance, let's look at the road constructions. Science subjects have been around for quite some time. If you're giving out contracts for civil engineers and all that, why you go for Chinese? If the president has good intentions of making Ugandans get out of this unemployment, why is it that when it comes to giving out contracts,
they're not giving Ugandan engineers?
But we have civil engineers from Chambago University. Ugandans have studied that.
Exactly. Chambago is one of the best science.
Definitely.
Yes.
So why is it that when we come up with big deals, we have to go to the tax, we have to go to the Chinese, yet we claim that we are pushing the science subjects? Two, just going to oil and gas, how many Ugandans can be employed there? How many Ugandans have been in position to go in for oil and gas? It's a few kids, and they come from specific families. Why? Because the cost is expensive and it's new in this country. So I really don't understand the intention of the government when there is so much claim that we are going into science. Two, which kind of science? Let's also get into the practicability. Let's look at the pharmaceutical industry. So we're teaching medicine, pharmacy, and all that. Let's talk about the pharmacies.
I think we have pharmaceutical industry. I think we've actually had a very active pharmacists.
Really?
We've had, there are drugs that Ugandans are actually producing themselves.
Can you mention some?
I don't know them offhand, but they are actually there.
Most of the pharmacists are drug dealers.
Well, when you say drug dealers, there are many kinds
in
of
this
drugs.
angle that there is so much proclaim and they prescribe Western medicine. So if you're a pharmacist and you don't have anything that you put on table, then why do you qualify to be called that? So the point is, we need to define, yes, it's very good, no one is against the payment, but they should have value for what they are doing. And that's real science. Real science is when you change your community. Real science is when you use the knowledge that you have and make your community get a little bit better. not to just prescribe what you got from India, what you got from Simanya, Egypt, all the prescriptions that are doing, and they are not even good for our own people. So which kind of science are we doing? Now let's talk about the gentleman that was in position to come up with COVID-X. Where is he?
He is, I do not know where he is, but of course I will look for where he is.
Thank you. What happened to the COVID-X project?
I think it was actually used, but I think it just ran out of use because the COVID-X later on wore out.
No. But you emphasize and empower the scientists in this country. That's how we're going to be in position.
But you know, COVID-X is still actually out there in case people want it, they can access it.
And
yes.
What do they use it for now?
Because that's why I said the disease just, laid back. But it was actually in action and it was
came up with an idea for one disease.
No, that's why I said Ugandans actually produce medicines. I do know one person from the university, because when I had cough, I asked them whether their medicine was approved by in Uganda National Drug Authority, and it actually was. Honestly, so we have people that I think maybe they are not yet out there, or they've not really produced or marketed themselves really well.
Thank you so much.
But we have people that are producing,
the
and
fact that you don't know where they are.
No, I know. I'm telling you, by the time I could access it, I know. I'm saying they are maybe like they are not worldly known, or known by the whole nation, but they do have their drugs made, and they are actually approved by the National Drug Authority.
I think
so we have
some
people.
Something. Let me just.
I'm not scared. Because I actually use that. And
Ugandans that have been in position to so much invest in health are Ugandans that have invested in what you call alternative means of healthcare. By the way. These are the guys that get traditional herbs and all that. We have certain families that have so much taken on this program. So if the government has good intentions of promoting
what
science,
do you mean by alternative means?
Alternative means we're talking about medicine that's not prescribed intentionally from the mainstream kind of hospitals and everything. These are the people that encourage the usage of herbs, and they can be in position to define their roles and responsibilities. They're in position to even define the scientific precaution that you can be in position to use. And by the way, most of them need to go to school. So we're challenging the scientists. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ones I know went to school, they were even from
they should be in position to give us value for money. And the government should walk the talk. They should walk the talk. How much money have they been putting, have they put in research? Because most of the scientists that we have, they have theory. Someone teaches you about God, but they've never seen any ounce of God. They don't even know, yet we have a lot underneath our ground.
I think in science, what makes it hard, I think, is more of, I don't know, when you said our Ugandan system is, the science subjects are poorly taught, could it be back to, I don't know, to the IQs? Because honestly, people have failed. People tried mathematics, people tried chemistry. I, for one, the only easy science subject for me was biology. When it came to chemistry, trust me, it was actually, the funny thing is you could actually pass the practical session, and then they bring the practical things in the final examinations. It's what we have in the exams, but when they are written out, like this chemical compound is written like this and this is this, but I do not know everything. It was crazy. I think I found a problem with chemistry. That's why I'm saying maybe it's because they are really hard.
Not that much. I failed science. I got a pass 8 in chemistry.
I actually passed. That's why I did BCM
chemistry, but I decided to teach myself. And it was easier, very, very easy. So the point is that now the president has so much had intentions for the science subjects, I think for the last 5 years. But let's take it a little bit further. Let us now go and get gold from Mubende and get copper, because we have a lot that is being so much taken by, that is being so much taken by different people that we don't even understand. So we have gold. We've always been talking about stories here that Ugandan gold almost brings in $6 billion, but Uganda is only in a position to get only 600 out of the $6 billion. Uganda only gets 600 million annually. So what's the point here? It's because Ugandans don't know the mineral resources that they have. Now, what's the instance of chemistry? Why do you have to take me to the lab, yet you can take me to Mubende, to Kasanda, to Mbale, to Wagagai, and we look at that gold? We have it here.
Of course, what's risky with that is because people know this is a source of income. Gold is expensive. It will not be paid. Trust me, people are not going to just look at gold and just be like, okay, we are learning. No, they will want to actually have that gold.
So
that is risky, of course. That's when insecurity, theft comes in.
That's very good. These resources are theirs.
They want to steal them. You know how, traffic.
Yeah, so you prefer other people to steal them. Because that's what's happening.
It is a system that that has made by Uganda.
No. So
they're not stealing.
So you so much like it when your resources are taken by the Chinese,
I'm not proud
I
of
think
that.
I would be so happy when Ugandans steal it. Yes, I would be so happy because at the end of the day, they are going
No,
to
but
invest
this
it
is
here.
like organized. They say that the trade, we're coming in, we're getting this much from taxes on the trade and all
the
that.
organization,
Yes.
thank you so much. In the organization that you've just talking about, Uganda only hands 600 million out of the 6 billion. So which kind of organization is that, madam? If Uganda can't be in a position even to get 10% of what you're dealing in, it's because Ugandans are not in the know. We are not aware. It's a point of awareness. So let us quit teaching chemistry, gold goes eggy, and all that. Someone crumbs and all that. They don't even have any idea. Right? They don't have any idea. So let's make science subjects real. We have all those minerals. And actually, Uganda has more that we don't even have on the periodic table. So let's make science real. Why would someone fail biology? Like seriously, because we are biology. Any person that's living, it's because your biology is okay.
Trust me, biology gets very much complex. Leave alone the biology on the surface. It gets complex when you're
Which complex sister are we talking about now?
Because you did biology at O level. I did this stuff at A level. Trust me, it actually gets complex. Though I'm not saying biology was really hard for me.
Let's talk about it. What's hard in biology?
After here, I'm going to just give you one of my papers. Trust me, you will see. You know why those biology students are always having like those big advanced biology? They have like always have the heavy books. Exactly, because they didn't even have time for themselves.
Because it's taught in a foreigner's approach. But this is someone's life. Whatever you said about in biology, you have in your system.
That's not what I'm saying. It's not only about the system, because you may think it's maybe just the digestive system, all that aggregation and all that. It's not only the system. It gets deeper. They go to the cell, to the point of just a cell, a unit cell in someone's body.
Then people should know.
And it's not
actually biology should be compulsory from primary.
Trust me.
Because all
we would have people not graduating.
All of what we're talking about, the problems, the diseases that we are getting in this country, the young people, they should get in position to know that this is science. They should get in position to know we have one of the biggest cases that we have is early pregnancies and school dropout. And the highest levels are in Busoga, where my friend Ngobi comes from. The highest levels are in that side. You know why? Because the young people don't know how their systems operate. They should get to know that the moment you mess up with someone, you have chances. So let us not look at sciences as a subject that we study in the laboratory. Science is life. So why should we have all the money that we give out to so many big projects taken by foreigners that do what we call, capture the money, get the dollars and run out of this country? Let us take science the way it's supposed to be taught. Now that science teachers are paid well, by the way, there was a district where I was invited a couple of years ago. After the too much payment, science teachers that turned out to be a problem, because they were getting a lot of money. So they were marrying the third wife, the second wife, and all that because of the too much payment, because of the bigger payment that was coming up with it. So there is no enough justification. There's no clear justification as to why someone that goes in for science should get 4M, and then someone that teaches arts should come for 1M. Most especially when the science people or the science teachers have not turned out practical to help change our own lives. So what will be the instance of having a lot of pharmaceuticals imported from India, imported from China, imported from Egypt, because those are our biggest, sources of pharmaceuticals and drugs here. And there's so much conscience here, they're not helping. Yeah. So the government should be in a position, number one, to pay them well. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Now we should go into supporting research. We should go into supporting research. And this research should be funded by the government, not by foreigners. Because when the foreigners come and fund the research, they fund the research that is beneficial to them. The government should take on the lead, let them support scientists, and let the scientists do research that's like that you can be in a position to use all the adamant resources that we have in this country. Now, not until that is done, there's no justification for whoever. Even if you give them 100, when they cannot help our communities get better, there's no justification that Ugandans will feel okay to clap for science teachers like they are good teachers.
Yeah, that is.
I'm not happy.